Hi, I'm Sean Adams.
And I'm Noreen Morioka.
And this is Designerama.
Today we're going to talk about the three influences that change or evolve the world. Those 3C's are
Culture,
commerce,
and creativity. So define creativity and culture and commerce in terms of design for me.
Commerce is how people profit from it.
How they make money.
Right. And culture is, well, how people live by it.
The society at large and how it functions.
And creativity, of course, is new and interesting ideas.
The way we make things, the way we look at things. I think Tupperware is a great example of culture actually driving a business model and a design practice.
Yeah.
So, for example, let's look at the culture in general post-war America. New suburbs, women are out there isolated from each other. They brand new housewives. They're desperate for some kind of way to get together and feel like they're part of something. And then on the other side, there's all of this excess technology available after the war. What do you do with these new plastics that had been developed for gas masks, for example? Well, the way around it is, Earl Tupper saying, "I'll make these reusable products." Dropped like a hotcake. No one wanted it. People were not the least bit interested.
I think it's supposed to be dropped like a rock.
Rock, okay.
Now, did it have to do with the design of it? Did it have to do with the look and feel of it?
Well, I think it had to do with the culture. And fortunately, they had someone really smart like this woman, Brownie Wise, who came along and said, what about these Tupperware parties? There's all these housewives starved for interaction. Right. How do we involve them and give them something, a way to get together at each other's houses in the afternoons? So in that instance, then, this culture of the suburbs and these Tupperware parties came together to change the business model of Tupperware from being an off-the-shelf item at the hardware store, and also change the design so that instead of just these sort of rigid plasticky looking things, you get these beautifully shaped pastel color objects that today are in the Museum of Modern Art.
So my example would be the Sundance Film Festival. I think everyone knows the story, right? That Robert Redford didn't really like the way that feature films were creating...
They're the only outlet at the time.
Well, yeah, formulaic types of films. And that people weren't able to have their own creative vision without a studio chopping it into what they felt the culture wanted.
Right.
So with the film festival, it was a way to celebrate that creative vision, that personal vision. And soon enough, it became incredibly popular, and great films were coming out of it that were successful, which changed the way that big studios in commerce and culture looked at the way...
Because all of a sudden, the commerce side of it, big studios or distribution systems, were able to say, gee, there's money to be made in these little independent films, right?
Well, money to be made and about really good creative, and not always trying to pander to what people expected to see.
That a little film like Napoleon Dynamite could actually make money, as opposed to Poseidon.
So our third example, the web now is one area that now all 3C's still haven't really defined themselves.
Right. I mean, I think the web sort of started off with this idea that it would be driven by commerce. That that would seem to be the sort of initial place that was a place for commerce to sell things, new storefront, and a new way to exchange information to further productivity.
Right, and now look at what's happening with culture. Now the idea of blogging. People now have their own venue for articulating who and what they are.
Right, it's all been democratized and it's accessible to anybody.
Well, I think what's interesting about what you're saying is that it's now beginning to evolve. No longer is it about the written word or the static image.
Right.
Just like this podcast, it's now becoming about animation and film. Well, so who do you think is going to win?
Out of the 3C's? It's a three-sided triangle that's equal-sided.
Yeah, it's nice to be a winner.
Right, and easy and important to remember that.
God, would you shut up when I give the last line? It's nice to be a winner?
Okay, I didn't know this was your last line.
You're just going to go, yeah.
Yeah! Noreen, you're right, as always.